So, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is the second out of four sessions celebrating Financial Literacy Month, presented by us, the Hispanic Federation. And I'm very excited to have you here, whether it's your first time or you're joining us from last Monday. So let's get started. There we go. So today we're going to be talking about a very important part of our personal finances, and that is savings. And today I'm going to give you just a couple of pointers and strategies on how you can get started on your savings path. So first of all, for those of you who are coming in for the first time, my name is Alessandra Vecino Sabon. I'm the Economic Empowerment Program Coordinator at the Hispanic Federation. And again, I will be leading these short workshops until the end of April. Before we get started, just so you know, make sure you are muted upon entry to the webinar. Click the Q&A button if you want to submit your questions at any time. There will be a Q&A portion at the end of the talk. And then please use the chat for comments throughout. And also know that this webinar is being recorded. So for today, I have two very simple workshop goals for the workshop, which is learning why savings are important and learning strategies to start saving. Very simple, and we're going to get going. But before we talk about the specifics about saving strategies, I'd like to take a few minutes just to talk about why saving is important. I think the why is just as important as the how, and it gives you a better understanding of the goals that you're trying to meet. So first of all, savings gives you more control over your life. Like having money saved gives you some financial independence. And not only that, it prevents problems from becoming crises. You know, unexpected expenses are actually more common than you think, and having a savings fund to help you like manage those times will prevent those problems precisely from becoming like this huge crisis that you now have to deal with. And if you lack the support of having a small fund or a fund of money to help you, you might end up like going into a debt spiral. And that is awful. It means you're just going to end up owing more money down the end. For instance, if your refrigerator broke down and you don't have the money right away to fix it or to get a new one, then it means you might end up borrowing money, taking out a loan, or using your credit cards to pay that expense. And all of these might have a high interest rate, and that's just gonna, put you in this spiral of like owing more money and owing more money because the interests are going to accumulate. And the other thing that I like to talk about, but the reasons why, is reducing your stress. Again, you don't have to have thousands of dollars saved, even though, eventually that is the goal. But any small amount of savings will help you in your day-to-day. For instance, the $50 is the difference between paying your rent in full or maybe buying groceries one week. So regardless of how you start and when you start, it's important you know that it is there, and these are ways that it can help you. So let's get into it. I want to go over 3 easy ways to start saving money and getting into your path. And the first is understanding your income and expenses. Now, this is the best way to understand your personal finances. How much money you're getting, how much money do you need monthly is crucial, because from knowing that information, from having that information, you're going to be able to create strategies. You're going to be able to create and modify your expense or your plans depending on what your goals are. The second one is straight up, make a savings plan. Just write it down somewhere and create a plan with the goal that you can attain. And it is just as easy as that. And the third one, it might sound obvious, but it is reduce your expenses. Sometimes we might be surprised about the money that we're spending on certain products or services and the possibilities that we have at hand to reduce these. So I'm going to talk about, just a few tips on how you could possibly reduce your expenses at the end. So let's jump in right into understanding your income and expenses. First of all, I want you to ask these questions of yourself, and you can write this down in a notebook or in your phone, whatever is most comfortable for you. But you want to know, how much is your monthly income? How many sources of income do you have? Is it one? Is it two? Is it three? Are you working a couple of part-time jobs? Or do you just have the one full-time job? Are you an independent contractor and you do like a few different things here and there? It's very important that you understand where your money is coming from. And not only that, but how often you receive income is also very important. Whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, irregularly at any given time, but you also just want to understand where that money is coming from and when is it coming. Your expenses also. You want to know how much your monthly expenses are. And this is the minimum amount you should be receiving in income. And not only that, you should know what your expenses are. And it's very useful to separate them into categories. And we can go into knowing what your fixed expenses are and what your flexible expenses are. Now, fixed expenses are the same every single month. Your rent, maybe a medical insurance, student loan fees every month, or in some cases even your cell phone bill if you have a fixed one. And then flexible expenses are those that change month to month. This could be how much you're spending in food, in gas money, credit card payments, if you spend more in one month or the other, but that you're gonna pay them. And another distinction that you want to make when understanding your expenses is, what are your needs and what are your wants? Your needs are the essential expenses that are necessary for you to live and work. Wants are the expenses that you make for fun or leisure. And it's very important to distinguish these two. There's nothing wrong, obviously, with spending money for fun or for your leisure. It's actually a very important part of your personal finances. But when you are looking to adjust your expenses and trying to find money that you can save, usually you can use those funds without affecting the expenses that you need in order to survive your month to month. Now, I want to give you this exercise to do if you're willing. So for a month, you want to write down all of your expenses, no matter how small or big they are. You want to, take a notebook, a notepad, your phone notes app, whatever it is that's most comfortable for you to use. And at the end of that month, you want to add up the totals. And this will give you a very good understanding of where your money is going. And not only that, it will help you know what your spending habits are and like what you're spending most on. For instance, perhaps you might be surprised, perhaps that little expense that you thought you were doing once or twice, actually at the end of the month, it means more money that you thought. So by understanding these, you will be able to, again, just get all the information that you need from your income and expenses so that you can then create a savings plan. I'm going to go with the step-by-step on, just like a basic savings plan and how to get you started with it. Now, one of the most important things is pick a goal. Like, you have to know what you're going for when you get started in your savings journey. And your goal has to be clear and it has to be attainable. It is much more easier to get into a good habit of saving if you start off with a goal that is small and attainable and you're able to reach it within, short to medium period of time, than it is, thinking, oh, I'm going to save $200,000 for my retirement. while it is a great goal, but you want to really understand how much you can save, and you want to start with something small before you move on onto like the bigger things. So yeah, so pick one goal and think about how you'll feel once you achieve it as well. Because not only do we want to understand where we're going, but we want to know what we're going to be gaining other than the money that we're saving, but how are you going to feel? A goal could be, I want to take a vacation with my family at the end of this year. And how is that going to make you feel? It's going to make you less stressed. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to bring you closer to your family. So you want to also write those things, because that is your motivation to also stay on track. The second thing that you want to keep in mind is how often can you save? And this is when that information about incomes and expenses comes really handy. Like the best moment to save is right when you get your check or your salary, whether it's, however, if it's weekly or biweekly or is irregularly, that is the best moment. But yeah, but knowing that, so in your plan, you can write down precisely, I can save every week if you get paid weekly, or every 2 weeks if you get paid bi-weekly. Or maybe you want to, you get paid weekly, so you get 4 checks a month, but you say, hey, maybe I'm not comfortable, just taking out money every week just yet. Maybe I'll do it twice a month and I'll save money bi-weekly. So again, that is totally okay. It's really up to how it makes you feel most comfortable, and you set your own goal on your own terms. And here's the other thing, how much can you save? And like I said, it needs to be something that you are comfortable with. It's very important that the money that you're saving, you're taking it out without making a sacrifice and without it becoming an extra burden. And this could be, as low as a couple of dollars, $5-10 every paycheck, or, if you're able to, you can take out more. And the way you want to think about it is precisely how much money could just disappear from my check without creating a problem for me. And that is the amount that you potentially would feel, comfortable putting away. Okay. And then the other thing that you want to also set is that period of time for your goal. And you can start with, thinking about what it is that you want. Are you going to buy something new? Are you going to go on a vacation? Those are different things that you want to keep in mind on the period of time that you want your savings plans to work. But also understanding that regardless of however small amount or however big amount you can save, with the longer the longer you save, the more money is going to accumulate. And sometimes we might feel, well, $5 is not that much, or $10 is not that much. But if you think about it, if you're saving $10 every week, in 6 months, it becomes $250. And in a year, it becomes $500. So it's also good to understand that the more you stick with it and the more consistent you are with it, you are going to reach that goal, or you are going to see your money, multiply. Now, how can you stay on track? And this is, obviously one of the biggest thing about, creating a new thing or trying to create new habits. And the easiest way, for instance, for a savings plan is reminders. Set an alarm in your phone, in your calendar, to go off every time you expect to receive a paycheck, and, remind you to put that money aside. You can put like sticky notes in your mirror if that is more helpful for you. You can even write down your savings plans and put it up on the refrigerator when you can see it. Anywhere where it is always somewhere in your surroundings that you can keep track and keep you motivated precisely to continue on your path. So going into, okay, you've created you understand your income, your expenses, you have created your savings plans, this is how you expect. but then you're like, okay, so I would like to reduce my expenses in a way that will help me save more money. So we're going to talk about 4 different tips, and these are 4 of hundreds. There are many different ways in which we can reduce expenses, but these are just some that I like personally. So we're going to start with avoid paying fees. And this is very important because sometimes you're paying fees or you're getting charged for fees that you could easily avoid. For instance, late fees. Try to pay your credit card on time and avoid those fees, increasing your debt. Or try using your own bank's ATMs. Because even if you think about it, if you go and find an ATM that has the lowest fee, which is like the 99 cents one, yes, that's great. You only pay 99 cents at that moment, but your bank might charge you an additional fee for using an ATM that's not on their network, and that could be $5. Okay, now you're spending almost $6 just to use that other ATM. And if you do it, say, 3 or 4 times a month, that's $24 that you're paying in fees that you could have easily put into your savings or used in another way that benefits you. The second one is shop around before you commit to buy, especially for big ticket items. You want to try and make your purchases with, a clear mind, and try not to buy the first thing you see in the first place that you go to. You want to make sure that you look around because other places or stores might offer discounts or even, something as free shipping, and that will represent a savings for you. Or maybe, they won't have the exact same product or service that you're looking for, but they might have something similar that equally benefits you for a less amount of money. So you also want to make sure that you are getting, the best bang for your buck. And the third one, is important in the virtual world that we live right now, is to review your subscription services. There are many subscriptions that we see that you might think, oh, it's not that much, it's only a few dollars a month, or $4 or $10, whatever it is, but in the long run it accumulates. So you want to make sure that the subscription services that you're actually using them. And for instance, for TV, you have many different ones. You have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO, Peacock. So you probably have a few of them. But then, if you look into your habits and if you look into like what you are actually using, maybe you think, oh, maybe I'm not using Hulu, or maybe I'm not actually using Prime, or whichever you want. And that is also a way that you can reduce your expenses by simply canceling them and saving that money, that yearly, whether it's like 100 and a couple hundred, it becomes a significant expense. And the fourth one is buying products that you often use in bulk. And by this, I mean products that you use around the house and given that you have perhaps the space for it, you want to buy them in bulk because usually you will get a better price than buying them individually, every couple of weeks or every week in any way. And these could be non-perishable items, could be oil, could be rice, could be salt, or it could be kitchen paper or toilet paper or cleaning products that you can just keep around and you don't have to worry about it, and you can get them at a good price. Now, wrapping up today's talk, I just want to leave you with this. There are no shortcuts, and results take time. So don't be afraid, or don't think that this is just like a huge mountain to overcome, but that you have to get started and you have to just give it your best, little by little, and it will accumulate, and you will get there when you need to. Well, and I just want to, thank you for coming and letting me know that next up on Money Mondays, we will be talking about understanding credit. So, giving you a basic intro into what credit is, why is it important, and just an overall intro to things. If you want to stay in the loop about what the Hispanic Federation is doing and learning more about the work that we do, you can sign up and receive updates and stay connected. We do more than just economic empowerment like these talks. We talk about immigration, environment, civic engagement, health, and so much more. So you can go to the HispanicFederation.org website and click on the Get Updates button, and you can sign up with an email, or you can text HF to the number you see, 40649, and you can receive updates through text if that's your preference. And also want to highlight that right now we are assisting people with health insurance. If you don't have health insurance, or if you don't know what you qualify for, you can call 1-833-656-2626 or email health@HispanicFederation.org. And we're more than happy to help you find health insurance that works for your individual situation and help you through the entire enrollment process. So if you need this, or if you know someone who needs it, please don't hesitate to reach out. And well, I'm gonna check to see if there are any questions in the Q&A. And I also wanna thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to see you in the next one and the final session out of the 4 for the rest of the month, celebrating financial literacy. Okay. Wonderful. So let's see. So yeah, so we have an anonymous question here. So they ask, what is a good goal? So like I said, you want to get to something that is clear. You want to get to something that you can attain, for your first plan, whether it's perhaps, you want to buy a new TV, or you want to go somewhere away for the weekend. Those are good small things to start. Not to say that you shouldn't be thinking about, the bigger goals like retirement, or bigger goals, maybe you want to save up to buy a car or a house, or maybe a rainy day, just little expenses that might get in the way, but you want to make sure that you have it right there. Yes, beautiful. Emergency savings. Yes, so these are also very good goals. If you want to have something in there that you want to have in case of sickness, or in case you lose your job, or maybe there's a natural disaster, and you want to make sure that you're able to cover all of your expenses given a sudden lack of income. These are amazing questions. Thank you so much. Okay, so it looks like we only have those two. Anyway, thank you so much again for joining us, and I hope I see you next time at the following Money Mondays on February 19th. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Stop sharing the screen.